I am Mintysquidz, and I make the videos. Hello everyone, and welcome to this latest Minty reviews for the latest episode of Star Trek Strange New World, and if you've seen the episode, you'll get that reference. Anyway, we're on episode 4, which was titled Among the Lotus Eaters, which I believe I actually know what that reference is, and it's a mythology thing, but we'll get into that later. Anyway, we're here for episode 4 of Strange New World. This series has been really great. Really awesome. I loved every single minute of it. Every single episode of it has been phenomenal. And let's just talk about it. And as per the usual with my reviews, I'm going to do a non-spoiler section first. You all can watch it if you haven't seen the episode yet. You can get my general non-spoilery thoughts about it. Then I'll go into spoilers afterwards, which I will talk about. And I have a bunch of notes here. I'm not going to run through minute by minute of the episode. Just talk about overall themes and stuff of the episode for the spoiler section, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Anyway, let's get right into it now. So non-spoilers first. Non-spoilers for this episode. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. This was a very well put together, well paced episode that honestly had me on like the edge of my seat the whole time, trying to figure out what was going on the entire time, and also was like feeling for the entire crew the whole time during everything. And it was such an intriguing story to tell, with some very intriguing theming that I was picking up on near the end of it, and being able to just see all of these characters outside of the usual like sci-fi spectrum in a way, without getting too into spoilers there. It was a very intriguing episode with how it was laid out, how it was paced, and what it was trying to say and also tell. There was also some great like funny dialogue before it got really serious. This was actually a full crew episode. We actually had a full ensemble together this episode. We got Nurse Chapel again. I'm just gonna say that right now. We got Nurse Chapel again, so I'm happy. We got Nurse Chapel. But either way, we got the full crew this time. A lot of Pike this time. We hadn't been seeing a lot of Pike in this whole season, but we got a lot of Pike in this episode, and it was very good. So yeah, so basically non-spoiler thoughts of it. I really enjoyed this episode. I really loved what it was doing the whole time in terms of pacing, storytelling, character development, and characters in general, and what it was trying to say with all those. So very much enjoyed this. Was I don't know if it was one of my favorite episodes of the season so far, because episode 2 was great, and last week's episode with the time travel stuff was just really fun. But honestly, it might be up there so far in this season already with one of my favorites, right there with episode 2. But either way, that's gonna be it. That's gonna be it for non-spoilers. Great episode, very fun, very serious though, and a very good story to tell. And now we're gonna go into spoilers here. So spoilers here for the episode. Spoilers. So in 3, 2, 1, forget me nots. Anyway, so this episode is titled Among the Lotus Eaters, and it's about Rigel 7. So we had the Enterprise crew going back to Rigel 7, which was mentioned or in or whatever of the Cage and the Menagerie, which was the first episode ever of Star Trek, talking about that. And the thing about Rigel 7 that we find out in the episode is that a meteor had crashed, or an asteroid had crashed on the planet, and there was causing like a lot of radiation to happen. And basically anyone who is outside of the main palace area forgets. They just forget everything that they know, except for like their deep internal like functions of like, you know, how to walk, how to breathe. They don't forget that stuff, but all the other stuff that actually makes them human, basically, they forget. So that's where we set off at. And it starts off with us finding out that the Enterprise has to go back to Rigel 7 because there are some images that came up from the planet that show a lot of Starfleet symbolism there. Like, oh shit. Because they had gone there previously, like 5 or so years beforehand. They had lost some crew members, and clearly they had a really bad time, had to very quickly get out of there, and they left behind some gear. So this is basically Starfleet being like, hey Enterprise, go clean up your mess. Beyond that as well, to actually set up the emotional part of the episode, we had Pike meeting with his girlfriend, who was the lawyer in episode 2, and they're having a rough time. They're having a real rough time because of the fact that they don't ever have time to see each other because they're both captains. And she just got passed up for promotion because of the whole lawyering situation in episode 2, where the case didn't go as planned, and the Vulcan lawyer that she was with is just kind of being a dick, as he was in episode 2. So they're in a rocky patch. She gives Pike a gift that he has, which actually will come back up later in the episode, which is very cool. They actually do bring that back up. And they're just on a rocky path, and Una even later on is like, Pike, you're doing the thing you're doing, where like someone gets close to you and you start trying to find a way to push him away. He's like, no, I'm not. It's like, yeah, you you are, you're doing the thing, and he was doing the thing. But either way, so that sets up the emotional aspect of the episode, where it's like, yeah, keep those emotions with you. You're gonna have them. There's gonna be some rocky patches, but you need those rocky patches to be human and to grow from it. So then we get onto the actual episode itself. Get some funny stuff with Ortegas. This episode, in a way, is kind of an Ortegas episode, which I'm so happy about. We have yet to actually get an Ortegas episode, and even though she's not, like, on the planet, on the ground team, she has probably the best scene in the entire show, which is what I referenced in the opening of this episode, which we'll get to that. But Ortegas, stand on the episode. I absolutely love Erica Ortegas. I love her so much, and she needs to have a full episode to herself. But she got some great stuff in this episode. But she was supposed to be on the ground team. Unfortunately, because of the asteroid field around the planet, they're like, hey, you kind of gotta fly the ship so we don't, like, destroy the ship. He's like, fine, I guess I'll go fly the ship, which that comes back up. Then we start getting the actual of what happens on Rigel 7. And like I said previously, there was an asteroid that crashed there, radiation. It causes people on the planet to forget. First starts out with like some tinnitus of ringing in the ears, then a massive migraine, then they start experiencing time loss, and they just start forgetting who they are and forgetting where they are or what they're doing, which is what happens in the episode. And it keeps progressing on a very nice pace, where it's like you're seeing all these steps to this issue, this radiation poisoning happening, and it's paced out very well, where it's like you first have La'an have the ringing in her ears. It's like, oh no, what's going on there? Very annoying as well if you're wearing headphones, but you start seeing that. It's like, okay, what happened there? And then she loses like 6 hours of time. It's like, whoa, that's a big time jump. And then after that, they just start forgetting who they are. Like, you have Mbenga and La'an just forget who they are. So Pike's the last one to hold out, but he even starts forgetting. He's like, I don't know why we're here either. And it's a really intriguing thing there, especially where you have the actual people of the planet who, the Kalar are basically split into a caste system of, you have the royals who remember things because of the palace shielding the radiation, and then you have the field Kalar, who are the workers, who are basically just like drones for them because they have no personalities, they have no histories, and they have nothing else other than their base functions because the planet keeps having them forget. And during the episode, La'an gets injured, and Mbenga's like, I know I can fix her, I just don't know how to, and we need to get back to the palace. So that becomes that. Meanwhile, on the Enterprise, off the planet, they also start experiencing the same issues, where they also are starting to forget things because, as we find out, the radiation is actually coming from minerals in the asteroid belt around the planet. So we're having an issue on both fronts here. We're having both the ground team and the Enterprise team start forgetting who they are, which is not good. Very much not good. But it's a very intriguing thing because now we start to see all these characters at their base form. And basically it's all the characters without all of the pretense of Starfleet and all their training from Starfleet. So it's like who these people are at their base levels. And at their base levels, La'an is a warrior. She's a warrior that just wants to fight but wants to save people. And we have Mbenga, who is a healer. He's like, I know things, I want to heal people, I know I can help people, I just don't know how. Pike is a leader. He's like, I'm going to plan things. I know I can plan things. I know I can get people out of these situations. And he leads with his emotions, which is a big deal. And then back on the ship, we have Spock, who's like, I know I'm smart. I know I'm logical. I know things. I just don't know what's going on here. And he kind of just doesn't know what to do other than like, I know you can do these things. And it leads to Ortegas, which Ortegas is the best one here, where she has one of the best scenes of just self-affirmation ever, where she starts forgetting who she is. She is just walking back. She's just trying to go back to her quarters, and the computer keeps telling her, like, yep, just follow the lit path. She'll get back there. She's feeling safe. And then she's like, okay, can you stop the rocks, please? Can you just like, can you just out of this asteroid field? And the computer just tells her, like, do you want me to plot a course? And that starts kicking in her mind, like, wait a minute. I know what that means. I know what this means. And then she just starts repeating to herself, I am Erica Ortegas, I fly the ship. I am Erica Ortegas, I fly the ship. And it's honestly one of the best scenes of self-affirmation, and honestly one of the most badass scenes I can think of. And it's such a simple scene as well, where it's just Erica not really knowing anything, just like, I'm repeating who I am affirming to myself who I am, what I do, and all of that, which is great. And by the end of the episode, the ground crew get their memories back. At the same time as well, they were also going, and they find out that one of the previous crew who we thought had died on Rigel 7 7 the first time actually didn't. He just got left behind and took over as like king, which is not good. And that's where all the Starfleet stuff came from. It came from him. Not good. We also don't know this character at all. Like, La'an makes a funny joke about that where it's like, we're supposed to know who this guy is, and it's like, no, we don't. We literally don't know who this guy is. He was mentioned briefly as one of the 3 people who died on the planet beforehand, but it's just funny. They take him back as well. But the whole theme of the episode that I was getting at, the whole theme I was kind of seeing for this whole thing is not becoming complacent with your situation, not becoming complacent and letting the outside world control you, just like how Rigel 7 had the radiation start controlling the people of the planet, and how once you become complacent like that, once you start just accepting things for as they are instead of trying to fight, trying to change them, you become a drone. You become a drone to the system, become a drone to everything around you, and you lose your personality. You lose who you are as a person. And I'm pretty sure it's what the episode was going for in some sense. Also a theme of like living in the moment as well, but don't let that moment consume you to the point of you not becoming yourself anymore. And I think the whole idea of it was an episode trying to show what happens when you stop trying to be yourself, when you stop being yourself, when you stop being an individual, being unique, and when you stop fighting for being yourself and being unique and fighting for what you truly believe in. I think that's what the episode was going for. And the whole thing about Strange New World, like every episode, to me at least, has had some type of theming like that, some type of actual like very contemporary theming that they perfectly encapsulate into an episode, and I think that's what that one was. But the way that the episode was laid out and the way the episode was actually like paced and told really was exemplifying that theme, especially with Pike, where Pike was having all the issues with his girlfriend as well, the other captain. It is exemplified with Pike there, where at the beginning we saw that they're on the rocky pathway. We saw them having a difficult time with this, but the episode is showing us, no, that's okay. It's okay to have those rocky situations. It's okay to go through those troubling situations, because you're going to get out of it at the end, and you need to have those bad memories as well to make the good memories mean more. And I think that's ultimately what I was trying to go for there, and it does pay off in the end with Pike and the other captain getting back together and trying again, because Pike at this point realizes, yes, I do want to try to do this, and I don't want to become complacent and stop moving forward. And also they fixed Rigel 7 as well, where even Spock's like, is this breaking Prime Directive? And Pike is like, the asteroid hit the planet 1,000 years ago and messed up their entire civilization. I think we're just fixing it at this point. And they take the asteroid and they fling it back into space. So hopefully now Rigel 7 can just develop naturally, and people can actually start having memories again, and they can just develop like an actual civilization should. So hopefully that happens. But either way, this episode, even though I did like a little whole like summary there with my thoughts, I really, really like this episode. I really, really like this episode a lot. And what it was saying, what it was doing, and how it was laid out and how it was said. The whole aspect of like the former crew member who like went mad and became king, that was weird. That part we didn't necessarily need for it. I understand we kind of need like a semi-antagonist to the episode beyond the planet itself, because that's a bit more of a very heady thing to have, as like the planet itself is the bad guy here. But like, so I understand having like an actual like physical representation of the planet in this situation, and it being the old crew member Zach, I guess is his name. So I understand that we didn't necessarily need him in there. However, having the full ensemble here, having them actually experience all this at the same time, or roughly the same time, and seeing how they deal with it, and then ultimately having Pike and Ortegas be the ones to not figure out what's going on, but to brute force their way through this. Pike on the planet actually getting his crew back, and then Ortegas just with the self-affirmation of I am Erica Ortegas, I fly the ship, is great. And the whole aspect as well of don't put down the thing that you're good at. Like, Erica is great at flying the ship. That is what she does. She flies the ship. And without her, there wouldn't be a ship. Like, there just wouldn't, because the ship would have crashed a bunch of times into different things. So her telling herself, yes, I'm the one who flies the ship, kind of reinforces that, no, this is something she's good at. This is something that she's really, really good at, and that she knows that she's good at, and it helps reinforce herself. as a person, which is great as well. That's another thing that people were trying to go for, was like just reinforcing who you are and being proud of who you are. So that was episode 4, Among the Lotus Eaters. Also, Among the Lotus Eaters, I'm pretty sure that's a reference to old Greek mythology with the lotus eating, or the lotus flower cave that makes you forget. I very vividly remember a scene in Percy Jackson of like a club in Vegas that was the Lotus Club. That's the only thing I remember. But it's some type of Greek myth where people forget things when they're in the Lotus Cave. So I'm pretty sure that's the whole reference there. But either way, that was this episode 4 of Star Trek Strange New World. Let me know down in the comments what you think about this episode as well. Did you like it? Did you hate it? What did you think about it as well? And what do you think about this whole season so far and everything they've been doing with Star Trek Strange New World? I personally love this series so much, and I'm always excited every week to see what they do with it. And I know in a couple weeks we're going to get the crossover episode with Lower Decks, and I cannot wait to see what they do with that one. That one's going to be so exciting. But either way, let me know down in the comments on that stuff as well. If you like this review as well, leave a like as well. Definitely does help out. And if you want to see more reviews from the channel, go ahead and watch this right over here. It's going to be a playlist for the reviews of Marvel Secret Invasion. I am not liking the show as much, but I am also reviewing it too. So might as well watch that as well if you want to watch that. And over here's going to be a video that YouTube recommends for you as well. And until next time, just stay positive, stay remembering everyone, and live long and prosper. And until next time, peace everyone. Peace.